Hello, this is a NetSuite tip on adding a custom field that uses a saved search to pull the results from. So maybe you want to have a field on a sales order that shows you the total of the quantity of all the items that are on that sales order. So what you would do is, first of all, we've got to create the saved search that the field uses for the results. So I've created one already here, but let's take a look at the search. So I called it sales order search for total quantity on order. I put in do not edit, so any other users know to leave this alone. It's got a purpose. They shouldn't change it. So you'll notice here for our criteria, the type of transaction is sales order. And then what I wanted to do is eliminate the main line, the tax line, and the shipping line, so we only see the actual item lines. This way we get an accurate sum. And if we were doing something else like counting the lines, which we aren't, we're actually summing the quantity, but we'd want to make sure we filter those things out. So this way, by eliminating main line, tax line, and shipping line, we'll get just the items that we want to be able to sum up the quantity on. Now that's on our criteria tab. On our results tab, all you really want here is the value that's going to go into your saved search. In this case, the value we want to show up in that field is the quantity, and we're summarizing that quantity. And the way we tell it to do this by sales order is over on the available filters. You give it a filter field that it knows how to connect to the data you're looking at. So in this case, we're going to use the sales order. So we're going to use the internal ID as the field that gives us the link to that sales order. So that's the information we need. We need a filter. So we've used internal ID. We need one result. It's summarized. It's the quantity. Could also be count or min or max or something like that. In our case, we want to sum up the quantity. So we're summing the quantity here. And the criteria, again, sales order. And we're excluding the lines that aren't item lines. So then we'll save that, save search. And you'll see there are results now, and we don't see a grouping or anything. That's how we want it. We want just that one result. Now, if we look at this next tab, we'll see where I've created the field. So let's go into that field. We'll edit it. So I called the field total quantity on sales order, and I've marked here that we want it to be on sales. And I went ahead and told it to print on standard forms and print on picking ticket. And we'll see a little bit more about printing in a minute. But here, our field, the type is integer number, because we're going to sum up a quantity. And in this case, we don't have any decimal quantities. We just need integers. We do not want to store the value. In order to make this work, we have to uncheck. If it's checked, we leave this unchecked, store value. And then if we look at the validation and defaulting field, we would normally put a formula in here if we were going to not store the value. But in this case, we're identifying our saved search in this search field. So if we hit the drop down, you'll see there are a few different searches out there that show up, but here's the one we want: sales order search for total quantity on order, do not edit. And there is an additional field if we have to give it some linking field, but we don't. We've got our internal ID there. That's set up the way we want it. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And I didn't change it, but that's why it's warning me. So we're going to save that record. Now let's go over to our sales order. And I've put the field already on the sales order. It's already up here, total quantity on SO. So let's go ahead and refresh this. And we should see that total quantity on SO field populate now with the total quantity of all the items added up. And it did. It's showing 14. And if we scroll down here, we'll see all of the items and all the quantities that are on there. We add them up. That comes up to a total quantity on the sales order of 14. Now I also customized the sales order printout, the printed form, to show that quantity. I put it down at the bottom with the total. So you can see total quantity of items on order is 14. And we can also go back to the sales order and we can print the picking ticket. And again, you'll see here's our total quantity, 14. So that's how you set up a field on a transaction body that's fed by the results of a saved search. So I hope that helps you, and thank you for listening and watching.